Ever since I healed my scabies with essential oils and breathwork, I've been known as somewhat of an alternative man. So who better to talk about alternative tunings than me? So we're going to talk about what I think is such a genius alternative tuning that I just discovered, and I wanted to share with you guys, talk a little bit about kind of the theory behind how it works and some cool stuff that you could do to actually play something that is really easy, but it sounds very complex and nuanced. Okay, so the tuning that we've got here is going to be C, G, C, E, A, D. Okay, so I'll talk about a song that I learned this in a minute. But let's talk about how we do this. So everything is down tuned, right? So the low E string is going to be tuned down a couple steps to C. The A string is going to be tuned down a whole step to G. The D string is going to be tuned down a whole step to C. The G string is going to be tuned down to E, C, G, C, E. So right here, these lowest four strings, that's a major chord, right? C, E, G, it's a major triad. So this is going to be just a C major chord if I just hit these bottom four strings. And then A and D. The best way to think about this, and what we'll talk about, is the highest three strings, E, A, D, are really the lowest E strings when you're tuned standard, which is going to come into play in just a second, right? So when you strum all of them, C, G, C, E, A, D, you get a C major chord with an A and a D, okay? So in the key of C, all this is going to be in the key of C, and we can use the capo to kind of do cool different things. But all right, let's say we have a C major and then an A. It's like, all right, C, D, E, F, G, A. There's a 6. So C major adds 6, C major 6, and then an E, and then a D on top of that. That would be C, D. It's either the 2, or we're gonna keep going. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, 9. So a C 6, 9 would be if you just play it open, okay? All right, and the cool thing about when you down tune a guitar is you kind of get that really low, on the verge of breaking up, rattling. And I'm just barring this 5th fret and the 7th fret to give me the other major chords in this key, okay? So let's just learn these major chords and why this is where it is. Because again, if you're just playing all the 6 strings open, you get a C 6, 9 chord. If you just play the lowest strings, you get a C major triad. So the great thing about this is if you just bar like the 1st fret, that's a C sharp major, D, D sharp, E, F. Okay, so F is a major chord in the key of C. So just barring the 5th fret gives you the 4 chord, and then barring the 7th fret gives you the 5 chord, F and G. In fact, so I want to talk about really quick how this relates to a standard tune guitar. So let me grab another guitar so you can hear just a C, F, G in that tuning. C, F, G, C. Okay, so keep that in your ears, and then back to C. So really just a cool alternative to use some of the same chords that you may already know in different songs, all right? Now you can find all the other chords, like all the 3 minor chords in a key, just by thinking about this C, G, C, E string now. I'm thinking of this as the old G string is now an E string, right? Well, if you just take this, right? So this interval, so I've got my root note, I'm just doing this on the F here, so the 5th fret, and then the 5th fret on the G string. I'm gonna call it the G string even though it's tuned down now. If you just flatten that, now you have a minor interval, right? So if you want to make a minor chord, in which case, you know, 1, 2, 3, the 4th fret would be where a minor chord is in this key. We just take this, 4, 4, 4, 3, and then now we have minor. And you can still get the open notes on top. Use on the 2nd fret, or the 9th fret. So now we really have just 2 shapes. Just an open straight bar, and And then we have the other one where we just take the 1/3, flatten it, and then move it to either the 2nd fret, the 4th fret, or the 9th fret for the 2, 3, and 6 chord. And whether you're in standard tuning or open tuning, you know it's going to sound good if you're using Elixir strings. This video is brought to you by Elixir strings, my all-time favorite strings. So these are 12s on this D'Angelico, and I'm very impressed with how well they have withstood tuning down severely. I didn't think it was going to work. I was like, oh, this is going to be too radically tuning down full 2 steps for some of these strings. But yeah, the integrity of the string has not been compromised, and I think it sounds great. When I put new strings on this one, I'll probably put 13s, because even though you may be like, oh, 13s, those are pretty thick for an acoustic guitar. Or maybe you don't think that if you just have power hands. If you're down tuning, they feel more, 13s are going to feel more like 12s if you tune it down. So I'm super impressed at how these 12s have stood up and how well this D'Angelico has stayed in tune in this alternate tuning. Sometimes when you go to like alternate tuning on a guitar, it's like you have to like really kind of mess with the tuning a lot, but no, these have been great. So again, the ones that I have on here are just the 12 nano webs. I'll link you in the description. If you haven't tried them, you need to try them at least once. Please, I promise you, try them once. You won't regret it. So thank you to Elixir for sponsoring the video. Affiliate link in the description. And now let's get back to it. So now that we know all the chords in this key, right? We have C major, then this would be D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and then, you know, we can kind of add the B chord here as a minor chord if we want. Just, you know, to add an extra chord, and then back to that octave C. But that's not even what the coolest thing about this tuning is. To me, the coolest thing is that the highest strings are E, A, and D, just like, you know, a regular tuned guitar. So something that I really think is awesome is, like, let's take what in maybe my mind's eye is as the minor scale in A minor, which would be the low E string 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7. I mean, I can play it in a different tuning. It doesn't sound right. But if we do it on the G string now, it's actually A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And then we could do the same thing with like the major shapes, right? So now the 8th fret of the 3rd string from the bottom, or the 4th string from the top, would be C. So you could do like a C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That beautiful 3 notes a string major pattern, right? In either of these spots. And the cool thing about this is now you can alternate between kind of just the low part of the guitar, the low bands. If we split it right down the middle, we've got kind of have this mullet tuning where it's like, you know, business in the front, party in the back, that low business triad, and then we have the scale up top that we can kind of play in correlation with maybe droning a full power chord, which is just C, G, and E, right? So again, if I said that minor scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, we could play or the major scale. That C on top there. And again, all just like different interesting sounds that, you know, are impossible to get in a standard tuned guitar, but it's really easy to conceptualize because again, we have this, you know, either lowest 4 notes are just a major chord or the lowest 3 notes are a power chord, and then you can kind of just go through it like that, right? Now, another really awesome thing about having a C note and its octave be the lowest string, and then I'm thinking of the first and the third string. Some people call this the sixth string and the fourth. I'm not about that life, guys. I'm sorry. This is an alternative way of thinking. This is the first string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just sounds great open too, right? So the cool thing about this is if you're a fingerstyle player, that thumb work back and forth, C, 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 is a great thing that you can kind of do to kind of get like cool fingerstyle stuff. So what I'm going to do next to demonstrate this tuning is I'm going to take the fifth string right here, which is now an A, and I'm going to think of the intervals that help me in C major or A minor, which would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So again, minor scale open, 2, 3, 5, 7, 7, 8, 10, 12. Almost played the major scale for a second. Oh my gosh. But if you can kind of like add the melody to something where you're just kind of going back and forth between these C notes. I'm just going along these and kind of getting that. See how I'm doing that? I'm just thumb back and forth, keep that steady, and then just add melody on top. And then it's like really easy to just kind of come up with like really cool stuff, right? So, try it in the bass, party up top. So now let's do a real life example of this song, of this tuning in a song, and one of the reasons that I first discovered this. What we're going to learn right now is going to sound like this. Who knows it? So basically, I've just tricked you guys into learning an Elliott Smith song, Elliott Smith tuning. It's a song called Clementine. Really cool move that starts out with. It takes what you would think of as like a D major triad. Check out the song Clementine. It's like such a, I think it's a perfect song to capture the vibe of what a down-tuned, open tuning can do for you, and how different it sounds from anything else, right? And this is just some cool little chromatic walk-down stuff. But let's take a D major chord shape, 2, 3, 2, and then that C in the bass, right? So right off the bat, something doesn't sound right because this is an F sharp, not in that key. It should be an F. But we're gonna start off with this here, which is essentially like a C chord with, again, remember thinking this is a D, so an E. I think this is an A C. So this is a C major chord with an F sharp in it. C major sharp 11, whatever. The name of the chord doesn't really matter. So if we have three parts, we have the first part, which is, again, the D shape. We can slide into it. And I'm kind of getting the high, low, high. Then I'm going back a fret. And this is like the coolest part of that song where, again, you keep that D major shape, but you just slide the highest to and keep your pointer finger. And what I'm thinking of is like the bass, kind of. Right, so. And then open. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we're walking down chromatically 2, 1, open, but having that kind of C major 2-note chord on top, right? So and then we're kind of doing this like walk down 3, 2 open on the third string, right? So and then the next part is a great way of thinking about how you can add a melody on top of like a low chord progression. So, fifth string, 3 3 3 3 2 open, 3 on the fourth string, open, right? Then we go to the 4 chord, the 5 chord, back to the intro. So again, I don't want to make this a whole like song lesson, but you should listen to that song at least because it's a classic, and it's a great just representation of what you can do in like a cool, wild alternate tuning. I don't even know what to call it. Maybe there is a name for this tuning. I don't know it. Like I said, I just learned it, but I've been jamming on it and coming up with cool stuff just because I just figured out how to play that song, looked up some tabs for it, and I'm glad I did. So thanks for taking this alternative guitar journey with me. Get yourself some Elixir strings if you're a true real one. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me in the comment section, Instagram's website. I'll talk to y'all soon.